Fixing a fuel pressure regulator for a 5.7L Vortec. Fuel pressure regulators can be a bit tricky, but with the right approach and tools, you can do it yourself. Here's a step-by-step process to guide you through it. Tools and materials you'll need: wrench set, screwdriver set, fuel pressure tester, replacement fuel pressure regulator, safety gloves and goggles, rags or towels, fuel-resistant catch can or container safety first. Before you start, make sure you're working in a well-ventilated area and have extinguished any flames or smoking materials. Fuel systems can be volatile, and you don't want to risk a fire. 1. Depressurize the fuel system. Before you remove the fuel pressure regulator, you need to relieve the fuel pressure in the system. Locate the fuel pump relay in the fuse box, and with the engine off, remove the relay and start the engine. Let it run until it stalls. This process removes the excess pressure in the lines. 2. Disconnect the battery. Always disconnect the positive terminal of the battery to avoid any electrical issues or spark accidents. 3. Locate the fuel pressure regulator for the 5.7L Vortec engine. The fuel pressure regulator is usually located on the fuel rail near the intake manifold. Refer to your vehicle's service manual if you're unsure. 4. Remove components for access. You may need to remove some components to get clear access to the regulator, like the air intake hose or other engine cover parts. Keep track of all screws and parts you remove. 5. Relieve residual fuel pressure. Place a rag or towel around the pressure regulator and use a fuel pressure gauge to ensure all pressure is fully relieved. Disconnect the fuel lines connected to the regulator using a wrench. 6. Remove the old fuel pressure regulator. Take out the screws or bolts holding the fuel pressure regulator in place. Carefully remove it, ensuring no debris falls into the fuel rail. 7. Install the new fuel pressure regulator position, the new regulator where the old one was installed. Secure it tightly with the screws or bolts. Reconnect the fuel lines and ensure they are properly tightened to prevent leaks. 8. Reattach components and battery. Put back any components you removed to access the regulator. Reconnect the battery terminal. 9. Test for leaks. Before you start the engine, turn the ignition key to the on position a few times to prime the fuel pump, but do not start the engine. Check the fuel pressure with a gauge and inspect for any leaks around the regulator and fuel lines. 10. Start the engine. Once you have ensured there are no leaks, start the engine and let it idle. Observe the fuel pressure to ensure it remains within the specifications for your vehicle. Final thoughts. Fixing a fuel pressure regulator isn't overly complex, but it does require some patience and careful attention to detail. If at any point the process feels overwhelming, don't hesitate to seek professional help. Better safe than sorry, especially when dealing with fuel systems. Happy wrenching! If you ever find yourself in Portland and want to chat about cars or beach chairs, give me a shout. Scott.